The real story about the Hurricane Milton tornado that hit Vero Beach, Florida. This is a story about the real Vero Beach, Florida. Hurricane Milton came calling on us last week. A freak wedge-shaped tornado with a 2-mile-wide debris field swept through town from I-95 in nearby St. Lucie County, where it decimated several communities and claimed several lives, before bringing its trail of destruction into communities in South Vero and onto our barrier island, where it ripped through our beloved stately live oaks and Central Beach houses to Bethel Creek, where it finally went out to sea. The wreckage, while haphazard and limited to a relatively small portion of Vero Beach, was shocking. Roofs were peeled off like Tupperware container tops. Trees pierced roofs like spears on a battlefield. Steel poles and signs were toppled like a house of cards. Limited primarily to our west of A1A communities, community institutions like Holy Cross Church, Quail Valley Club were also in its path of destruction. 5 minutes for wreckage unlike anything Vero has ever experienced. But that's not the real story here. I'm Sally Daley of the Daily Group at Douglas Elliman in Vero Beach, Florida. As Viktor Frankl famously wrote, I'm paraphrasing, there's a space between stimulus and response. I've always believed that the measure of a person is not the unexpected and that will happen, because the only certainty in life is that the uncertain will happen. How a person, how a community chooses to respond to the unexpected. Now that's the measure of a person and a community in my book. By Thursday, having already reached out to many of my clients and connected those affected with trusted contractors to help, shout out to John Kuritz of ROVB, happy to hear the majority were unaffected, I began to see social media and get texts to rally the troops. I want to shout out the efforts of just a few of the leaders in our community that I'm so happy to call colleagues in the real estate industry here, who single-handedly took the ball and organized people that wanted to help but didn't know what to do. Angela and Josh Waldo, Elizabeth Sorensen, Kathleen and Jason Pagani, Janice and Scott Reynolds, Jennifer Bailey, Lolly Connolly, Tim Boardman, Carol Hawk, Michael Armstrong, and the rest of my crew from the Real Estate Association. Assessing neighbors, known and unknown, who needed cleanup, movers, food, water, chainsaw, debris haulers, housing. I got a text with an address and it would say, we're meeting at XYZ address at 11 a.m. On social, Angela would post, we need help at XYZ address. When I showed up last weekend to help, who did I find but fellow realtors who personally had their own homes damaged in the tornado, yet they were at a neighbor's home helping. Just wow. As the days went by, help continued. Food and necessities to entire communities. Local agencies like my favorite, United Against Poverty, were and are still marshaling agencies, donations, and communications to be a hub for all resources for anyone affected by the tornado and the hurricane. The reality is that communities affected by the tornado may never look the same. Most of the trees remain, albeit now 50% of their former size. Houses can be repaired. Trees, we hope, will grow again. But the lasting impact of the Milton tornado, the fabric of this town. Beloved Vero Beach has shone brightly during this dark time. Stranger helping stranger. Donations of time and money and services were and are going on to help those unlucky enough to be in the tornado's path. One of my colleagues that had both his home and his office ravaged, I helped him clean up over the weekend. It was remarkable to witness the progress made by volunteers. But more remarkable was to see the smile on his face, the grace and gentle nature, despite immense personal and professional catastrophe. It's pretty easy to be gracious and selfless when all is well. The measure of a community is how it responds to tragedy and how neighbor helps neighbor. Vero Beach, you did good. Keep it up. We are Vero Strong. If you'd like to donate to relief efforts to people affected by Hurricanes Helene or Milton, we encourage you to donate to the Samaritan's Purse and also reach out to United Against Poverty here in Vero Beach. And when your head hits the pillow tonight, be certain to express gratitude for the many blessings in your life. Until next time, I'm Sally Daley, the Daily Group, Douglas Elliman.